And welcome Nathan Lenderby and Jake Smith. And welcome, boys. Thank you for taking the opportunity to come and sitting on this council. It's very important for this council. And I know that you boys will take a lot away today from this meeting. I commend you for one for putting your hand up for school leaders. It's very important. And we know that in the future that we'll see school leaders from the school be involved in this community through the world. Councillors, with our open prayer, we give thanks for the contribution by our pioneers, early settlers and those who fought the various wars of the fabric of the Zenfield community we have today. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts be accepted in thy sight, O Lord. Amen. Acknowledgement of country, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land who are meeting on today. I'd also like to pay respect to the elders past and present of the Yuckabull, Kamilaroi, Bundjalung nations, and extended respect to the Aboriginal people present. Councillors, is there any disclosures of interest? No disclosures of interest. Councillors' apologies. I do have an apology from Councillor Vickery. Can I have a move in the sector, please? Councillor Shipman, I thank you. Seconded by Councillor Murray. All in favour? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Instead of leaving up to executive session from Councillor Mack. So we'll put that in the same move as the second. Councillors, confirmation of the minutes. We have two sets of minutes. One's to do with the ordinary council meeting held on the 27th of July 2016, and next ordinary council meeting held on the 10th of August 2016. If someone happy to move them together, councillors? Would someone who was in attendance like to move that they are true and correct record of those meetings, please? Councillor Peters, thank you. Councillor Ford, thank you. All in favour? Yes. Councillors, we do have a late attendance. So can I move a second? We can deal with it now, but it'll go into our agenda as item GM049/16. Can I have a move in a second, please? Second, Councillor Lake, thank you. And seconded by Councillor Beard. All in favour? Thank you, councillors. Council, please respect that I've come here to do my Merrill minute. I have two Merrill minutes. First one as a Merrill minute. At the March meeting of our council, I wrongly brought an item forward and urgent business without notice. Due to our code of meeting practice, which I fully respect, this was against meeting procedure, and I apologise to you, my fellow councillors, for my misunderstanding of this section of the code of meeting practice. I'll move that Merrill minute. The other Merrill minute, councillors, is in front of you, and once again, please respect that I've come here because it is a reflection of the last 4 years. And I will take a moment, and with the dot points I've moved through there, I wish to speak briefly on each of them, and I think it's an important time. When we started this council, one of the first things we did do, I apologise, I've made a mistake in there which was pointed out to me without even pluralising the town water supply. It was actually done before this council was formed, and I apologise for that, I got a bit excited about that. But anyway, when this council started, we reviewed the LEP. It was a very big task and a huge job for this council, and I commend you all on the work that has gone into that, and the LEP we have today. It's been commented by neighbouring councils that they wish that they had an LEP like ours. We have had, I think, 3 or 4 amendments in the term of this council, and obviously we'll work through them, and they've all been justified, and we've dealt with them with full support of our staff. The Main Street Master Plan and the Brookston Park Renewal and opening of these projects was fully supported by this council, and I commend you all on being so supportive, which reinvigorated our CBD of this town, and it's a wonderful project, and was fully supported by our RMS. Northern Grove Corridor councillors with the Lagoon Woodenbong Road work. This has been a success of the Alliance Group, and the last got funding announcement for the federal election with $12 million from our federal government and $12 million committed by our state government. We look forward to that project to roll out, and just an add-on there with the invitation we've received to speak as a council and do possibly a workshop at the National Roads Conference in Toowoomba. And that's an outstanding effort from this council, and we look forward to the new council to be heavily involved with that. The heavy vehicle alternative route councillors with the $10 million announced prior to the federal election for bridge design and land acquisition. This is the furthest this project has been in 60 years. And where we sit as a council have been supportive of this, we're all getting on with the job. And it's about the whole area, and that bypass is noted and supported by neighbouring councils, because it's not only about this area, but it's about the traffic flow for the New England Highway. Memorandum of Understanding with the Southern Downs Regional Council. It's a good solid relationship with cross-border councils on a whole. And what it does, it justifies and notes our alignment with the Queensland border. When we travel south as a council, the General Manager and myself were in Ringwood the other day. It's always something that comes up to make the councils to our south aware of that alliance we have with Queensland. And it's never something that it's what we work with every day. And it needs to be a strong and solid relationship. And I know with the new council that will be continued. The induction of curbside recycling, extended recycle service base across the Shire. This reduced waste to landfills by 40% in the first 12 months. It was a huge effort, and what it does is reinforce our relationship with the EPA, and it was another good thing from a government agency. And I commend the councillors that were fully supportive of this happening. Renewing and reinforcing the Tenterfield Creek dam wall. It's a $7 million project. 3.5 million has been committed by the state government. This again is a huge project this council has taken on. When that first report came back to this council, the dam wall, the safety of that was catastrophic. This council dealt with that in a mature and responsible way, as a council should. And I think it's a great project. We look forward to that work being done. Introduction of special rates variation of projects that have been completed and continue to roll out across the Shire through this funding. Every time councillors are weekly report and we see the special rates variation underneath that, we know that that's what's going. It has been spent on bridges, resheeting roads, doing roads, causeways, restuffing community halls, painting interiors of buildings. Will continue. And I commend you councillors on the great support that was shown to that staff when we went out into the community. And I'll always say, and I'll argue, that it united us as a council. But we went out and sold this to the community. And I thought it was a great experience for us all to do, and it was a good project. And we're seeing those projects roll out today. Building a strong relationship with state agencies, which is the Roads and Maritime, which is RMS. So important. They consider that we are one of the 3 best councils that they deal with in the state. And that is outstanding to have that relationship. Same with the EPA. We have a very strong relationship with the EPA and with our state and federal members. It's important for a council to, whoever they are, whatever party they represent, to build and foster those relationships all the time. So I repeat, we do have a very good relationship with our state member, Mr. Thomas George, and obviously with our federal member and Deputy Prime Minister, Leader of the Nationals, the Minister for Agriculture and Water Resources, Mr. Barnaby Joyce. Funding work on the Bookakarra Bridge and the Mount Lindsay. This is a new design with the federal government, Roads and Maritimes, state government and council each contributing $250,000. This project is a first off, and I can share with councillors. I hope the General Manager doesn't go cranky on me that this also will qualify, as we've been informed, as an award with the Premier's Award. So that's absolutely fantastic, and all the councillors should be proud of, and the staff, especially the engineering department. Congratulations. Special grant funding with one offer, $300,000 for the Plain Station Road. Work down there with the approaches to Rocky River Bridge and a new bridge at Gap Creek. Down on that eastern side of our shire is a wonderful and outstanding agricultural area, very strong. And also it fostered relationships between us and our Clarence Valley neighbours. They were fully supportive of us applying and getting this money because of the London Correctional Centre down there. It just, so much traffic goes on that road, and they're fully appreciative and respectful that we were copying all the traffic, and it picks up that road and to get on with the job. Continued upgrade work in the Tenterfield Sale is completed, and the completion of the cap work. Due to the levy that was brought in by this council for users of their sale yards, that's how this was funded. The sale yards are a major asset to our shire. With the last financial year, with the cattle prices on a very good high, and the cost going through that sale yards to be nearly $20 million. So that's a great achievement. On a larger scale, to do with and thanking the federal government for the commitment of $550,000 for a feasibility study for increasing water security for our water rivers through a new dam on the Mole River. With the new council, I hope that support is still there. We look forward to that feasibility study coming back and seeing the future of that project happen. Will be great. Leaving the council in a better financial state than when we started. Major thing. And this council has been so supportive, and I commend the staff for the work they've done to bring us back some time ago into a surplus budget. We've done cuts and tucks all through this 4 years, but I believe we're still getting on with the job. One of the major things that I see, which was early in this council, was purchasing another grader, and view things very simplistic. There's 4 corners in a square, so every corner of this shire should be getting graded at some time through the program. And I think that was a major thing, and it's been 4 years. If you look back over the 4 years, whether you wasted your time or not as a councillor or on this council, that I don't feel we have. We can touch on all those, and I've only briefed over them. There's more to add into there. I didn't want to bore you with that this morning. We're proud of the achievements that you've done. It's been an honour to serve as mayor, and I commend you all for the job that you've done. Strong relationship between the council, the general manager, the senior staff is utmost importance. To the 3 deputy mayors that I've had in my term, Councillor Murray, Councillor Lay, and my current one, Councillor Shipman, I thank you for your support, and I wish you well in the future. Respect that this council has got in the community as a very proactive, open for business and working hard council. I thank you all very much. Before I finish, I wish our General Manager, Mr. Damien Connor, all the best into the future. The support we've received from our 3 directors and the relationship that's been built with this 4 years with this council, I will never forget. It has been very good. The reports and the information and advice for our General Manager and through our 3 directors that we receive is never forgotten. It's the strongest thing you can ever have. Anywhere you work needs to be a good place to go to work, and I think that this council has worked hard on that. To the councillors who aren't standing, I wish you very well. Councillor Lake, thank you for the last 4 years of being a councillor, and I wish you well into the future. Councillors, thank you very much, and I hereby move that council receives notice of the mirror. Thank you. Council, we'll move on to our public access session. We do have a speaker, Michelle Jakes, strategic plan. I'll start again. Strategic business plan for water supply and sewage service. Ms. Jakes, if you'd like to come forward, councillors, please stand and welcome our visitor to our chamber. Welcome, Ms. Jakes. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bear, elected community representative, staff and guests. To consider the following mission statement, the strategic business plan for water supply and sewage services. Named the council operates in order to provide value for money to all customers in the Shire, and council will engage customers in decision-making processes. The document formally recognises that the Tenerville Shire community has a limited capacity to absorb future increases in water and sewage pricing. Despite this, the 2020 pricing plans still include nearly $1,000 per annum each for water and sewage services. This is a very high mandatory charge, especially on top of similar levels for waste rates and significant increases in general rates. Your ratepayers are not getting increases of this level in their income streams, and many are forced to work away from the Shire to earn their living. The document does state that council will determine the need for community consultation and techniques to be used for each project as they arise, and ratepayers will be relying on the councillors making this happen. The annual public exhibition of Tenerville Shire revenue policy is hardly suitable consultation on changes to water and sewage pricing, and would probably be far too late for ratepayers to get any changes made to the document, especially if it is a contest between council's financial viability and the ratepayer's financial viability or capacity to pay. Consulting only for capital works in excess of $1 million may mean that smaller groups of ratepayers will be ambushed, similar to what happened with the March 16 along Mount Lindsay Road domestic waste curbside collection charge. Contradictions within the document mean that potentially affected ratepayers may not have clarity as to council's intended actions, timing of action, especially if there's no mention in the fortnightly newsletter or other public advertorial methods. Despite this, the document includes that council is committed to consulting the water supply and sewage customers regularly, and that customers in Jennings and the wider community will be consulted in relation to the development of sewage facilities at Jennings, particularly with regard to affordability and willingness to pay. Presumably, the same principle would apply for other towns and villages, although this wasn't the case for the ratepayers along Mountain Road. It is surprising that the comment during community visioning workshops held at Liston in 2006, residents raised concern about the contamination of local waterways from on-site sewage systems for Liston Village, a population of 50. But this has not been updated even to include the general statement there are no indications that existing systems are inadequate, and I don't see that. There's nothing apparent in the capital works plan to 2042 for expansion of water or sewage services to areas beyond Tennantville, and Jennings. And ratepayers and their tenants rely on the document, but will we be subject to nasty surprises as happens along Mountain Road? The New South Wales Premier's Office brochure, Stand for Your Community, reminds everyone that being a councillor provides an opportunity to represent your community's views in vital decisions that affect people's daily lives. Councils work with local people and businesses to find out what is important to them and make it happen. Councillors find out what local people want and represent them. Councillors and prospective councillors, please ensure that the potentially affected ratepayers are specifically consulted on matters which will result in additional or further increases in council rates, fees and charges. Please decide to formally consult for all capital works affecting most in the community, even when they are less than $1 million. Please don't allow the staff to continue to take the maximised revenue and increase charges by 40% growth path as the community can afford it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Councillors, we move on to the agenda. Reports from committees and delegates. The first one, councillors, is item RC 3016, support the committees and delegates to Aboriginal Environment Committee. Being the chair of that, I'm happy to move that. Would you like to second that there, please? Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillors, any questions to do with the meeting myself? No? Well, happy to receive a note. Well, against? Councillors, we move on to page 12 in the hard copy. Item RC 31/16. Public Arts Committee held the 26th of July. Councillor Berry, the chair of that, would you like to move the adoption of this? Thank you, Councillor. Right, second, please. Councillor Peters. Thank you. Councillor Berry, if you wanted as chair to speak on how that's going.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Please use your microphone, Councillor, please.
Yeah, the recommendation is there for the public art committee to have a forum of R+1. Yeah, that came about because we've got two young people working on the committee with us, and they've got jobs and they can't always attend meetings, so we decided to do that. Well, I'm speaking, I'd like to invite the two boys to join that committee.
I'll ask that you just to speak on that with that recommendation, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, unfortunately, sort of recommendation won't go. Which is less than R+1. I'd also qualify that with the conversation we'll have further about committees. 3 months. Ability for this sort of purpose. Obviously, whilst there is under section 355 of the Act, then we have certain requirements we must fulfill. However, if you don't constitute consultative or advisory group as 355 some other panel, then you have more flexibility. Whilst it's 355, in the last 3 months, my time, my number. It's a constraint.
Councillor?
Question to you, Mr. Mayor, the General Manager. I'd like to move amendment to remove that item 2.
I think it's probably preferable there, but happy to, I guess, but otherwise it's.
Councillor Peters, being the secretary, are you happy to go on with that? Is the advice given by Councillor? Thank you. There'll be noted that the recommendation for the Public Arts Committee be changed to half committee membership as well. Is overall. Correct on that? Okay.
Chair, I'd be happy to change, sorry, the second by the recommendation. The 355 public art be used on the coming months.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Peters. Thank you once again, Mr. Chairman, for the advice. Okay, councillors, any more questions, comments to do with this meeting? Or happy to move in the top, please? Councillors, we move on to page 18. 19. 17. I apologise, councillors. Right, we're moving on to page 17. Item RC32/16. It's the International Partnership Cultural Committee. Councillor Murray, being chair of that, would you like to move the adoption of this report, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you, Councillor. Seconded by Councillor Shipman. Councillor Murray, any comments to share with the councillors and how this committee is going?
This committee is doing exceptionally well. Everything like really a lot of progress. Okay. Movement to something really good.
Yep. I do need to note with the cultural exchange program, with the trying to involve with the younger people and with the new members of the government, and good council. Excellent. That's good. To do with that, with our sister city relationship, and obviously our interest, Wayne, is very important to this town. Very good. Questions, comments, councillors? Councillor Lane.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. Does the fact of not having regular meetings cause any difficulties with attendance? It says the committee will meet at times and on dates as determined by the committee.
Is that the direction to the chair?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm trying
Through
to.
me to the
Yeah,
councillor.
I said through. I'm
Yeah.
trying to talk into the microphone and look at you and look. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Mr. Mayor, can you repeat that again?
Does the fact that the committee only meets at times and on dates as determined by the committee cause difficulties with attendance?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, it doesn't, and that's something we're working through at the moment, actually, because some of those committee members work and don't go to work until 5:30, so we try to accommodate time that suits everyone. So we are at the moment sort of pioneering.
Thank you.
More comments, questions there, councillors? If not, all happy to move to receive and note. Against? Okay, thank you. Councillors, move on to page 25 in hard copies. It's item RC33/16, Fairfield Shire Anzac Centenary Steering Committee. Councillor, would someone like to move and second adoption of the report? Councillor Ford, so thank you. Second, please. Councillor Wade, thank you. Councillors, any questions, comments to do with this one? No? Oh, sorry, Councillor Murray.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, election of chairperson. Election of chairperson, I just want to clarify that a little bit. Does that effectively mean that only the mayor can chair that?
Is this to do with the Anzac Centenary? Where are you reading this, Councillor? Sorry. On page what? 22. No, that's the, sorry, Councillor, yes, that's your view.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Nothing I've never supported. Chair the chairing of subcommittee 355s of all the councils. Okay. Any more comment, questions to do with the Anzac Centenary? No? We're happy to receive a note. Yes, carried. Thank you, councillors. Councillors, we move on to the page 29. It's item RC 34/16 for the Woodlawn Road lines, meeting held the 12th of August. Councillors, I'm happy to move this, being the deputy chair of that. The delegate, can I have a second, please? Councillor Berry, and I thank you. Any comment, questions to do with this meeting, councillors? Councillors, just to share with you, and it has been a very good committee and has been successful. GM and I met with our federal member only that same afternoon here to share with him if we need some go forward to when the funding for that will roll out. And we have had correspondence back to say that they're on to that. That's very important for us as a council to know how that works through the engineering department, but it's one lot a little bit over the 3 years. So I've had that meeting, it was a very good meeting, and our federal members fully appreciate what that work needs to happen. And also to repeat myself, we look forward with the new council for that to be presented at National Roads Conference in Dormer. Huge. No more comment, questions? All happy to receive a note? Against? Carried. Councillors, that's the end of our reports from committees and delegates. We move on to our reports of officers. Councillors, before I go on to this, I do apologise for all the staff at this point. Councillor Shipman, in my apology for our last meeting. Thank you for chairing the meeting. Thank you. As a deputy mayor, so I apologise for my funding at the start of the meeting. Councillors, we move on to page 34. It's item GM 042/16. It's a risk management policy. It's revised. I'm moving a second here, please. Councillor Lay, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Hull. And I'll hand over to our general manager, Mr. Jennings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. In short, I'll leave the report to stand for itself in the main, other than to say I've recently done a review of all of our risk management framework. Sorry, and also saying the next report, looking to just clean a few parts of our policy out, add a little bit clearer principles and objectives in there as to where we're going, and also get some clear linkages between risk management framework, but also the Council's assurance arm, which is the audit and risk committee. In short, it's been based around principles that are set out in the Australian standard. It's I'll stop it. Taking questions.
The general manager's recommendation is there, council. Any questions to the GM to do with this? All happy to. Sorry, Councillor Lane.
Good year, Mr. General Manager. I note throughout these 6 pages, obviously, coping with risk and having safety as a prime value, but you also touch on positive risk, although you don't highlight it at all. Now that may be because the Australian standard doesn't allow for it, but I wondered if there's any opportunity for recognising the opportunities that we sometimes take with risk attached, because sometimes without it there would be no development of certain areas or new projects, and there's always some risk. And if we become risk averse as a council and regulatory driven without looking at the positive aspect, I'm sorry, I must make a speech, it's a question.
Please. So that's the question.
Is the positive risks, the positive aspect of risk incorporated into this policy.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor. That's really, Mr. Chair. I think we identified in a number of sections, Councillor Lay. We go on to section 4, which obviously outlines the aim of this policy to eliminate all risk, which isn't. It also goes on to say that our staff are encouraged to adopt a positive approach to risk management, which further strengthens risk-aware culture, as opposed to a risk-averse culture of that council. That's important that we balance both sides. And it's also tendered in there with the fact that generally public authorities, particularly council, do have a low risk profile. So whilst other corporates may be keen to leverage against their risk and take more opportunity through that, as a rule, as a custodian of public assets and applying public money, slightly more. However, that statement is probably the best one to encourage all of our staff to be risk aware, not risk averse, making decisions, utilising risk often as a strategic direction as opposed to something that you're just trying to avoid at all costs. And you're always making decisions on risk at that end, whether you go, there are parts of there that reflect that.
Thank you.
Any more questions for the general manager to do with this report, councillors? No? All happy to adopt? Favour? Against? Carried. Thank you, councillors. Councillors, move on to page 36. Item GM043/16. So Audit Risk Committee Charter revised. I've moved and seconded to deal with this item, please. Councillor Lane, thank you. Second by Councillor Berry. And once again, I'll hand over to our general manager, Mr. GM.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. In short, again, we've done a revision recently of our Audit Risk Committee Charter, having attended the most recent meeting. It was somewhat evident to myself that our Audit Risk Committee did a good job over the last window. We were coming to a point at which where we had previous IOB studies done, we talked a lot of that, and there was a need for direction. There also was the opportunity to clear up our charter in order to outline very clearly what responsibilities were that council is giving to their assurance arm. But also to allow our committee to a direction on what it is they're actually signing off on. Quite important. The council can provide a lot of power, obviously, and responsibility. So we've outlined the responsibilities of the charter a little bit clearer. There's also an annual reporting schedule that goes with this that sits right off the back of those responsibilities. So those that serve on the committee can see where they're going to receive reports, assurance reports, and exception reports that directly correlate to this. Sure.
Questions to the GM to do this report, Councillor Berry?
Mr. Mayor, the General Manager, the new committee when the council's when the new council's re-elected, will the committee remain the same or is it going to change with all the other committees?
Through Mr. Chair, so the composition committee will be redetermined by the new council. So obviously, council as elected reps as well as our independents will all need to be redetermined. It should say the charter and then less for the committee, for the independents is 4 years. Annual reviews of their performance, major 2-year window. So whilst there won't be a need to obviously rewrite the charter again in a month's time, all of our committees must be reviewed, be read for that time. Their expressions of interest. It may well be that we end up with similar members on it, may well be.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for the question, Councillor. Any more questions to the GM to do with the report? No? Councillor, all in favour of adopting? Against? Carried. Thank you. Councillor, move on to page 38. Item GM044/16 in your hard copy. Council induction and core training program. Try to move the second here, please. Councillor Hull, thank you. Second by Councillor Shipman. Thank you. And once again, I'll hand over to our General Manager, Mr. GM.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. In short, the report has got 2 recommendations to have in place for our incoming council. The first one is to have an induction of an induction backgrounding type held for to bring our existing councillors who are elected and councillors into the chambers, basically to do some introductions, issue equipment, get email addresses, understand monthly schedules, information flows. So a basic introduction. The second part is looking to endorse the implementation of a core training, so a core competencies training program for all councillors. I think it's a really good opportunity to not only put our new councillors through, but also to have everyone go back through a refresher on those core areas. As outlined in the report, that covers off on governance as being a council issue, dealing with the community, representing their views, integrated planning and reporting, finance, risk management, planning and regulation, conduct. So, Mr. Chair.
Questions to our GM to do a report? As Chair and Secretary of the Council, Peter will throw you into this your third term. Where this was in the early days, where it is now. Absolutely. I just want to note that as the new council is formed, it's so important for that new council. And a refresher.
Can I say something? Like
Which is, Councillor,
when you went absolutely cold, you knew nothing. I didn't even know what a DA was. So, now you're getting a bit of training. At least you know what's going on.
Councillor, thank you for your comments. Councillor, any more questions? Comment to the GM? All happy to, in favour of endorsing this, councillors? Yes. Councillors, move on the page. Item GM 045/16, in hard copy. Organisation will review. Councillor Moore, and second, please to deal with this. Councillor Murray, I thank you. Second, please. Councillor Peters, I thank you. And I'll hand over to our General Manager, Mr. King.
Mr. Chair, through you. Sure, the reports. What we're looking to do is, in the first instance, obviously, comply with 333 Act, which requires a new council within 12 months of coming into regular structure. But at the same time, to also take an opportunity to review our current structure and our current operations, to have someone take the time to sit down and discuss with our executive managers things that work really well, things that don't work so well, where we may have some bottlenecks, where we have some alignment that can be slightly different, where people don't report in different departments, and also to get some continuity across the it's always a good thing to review and check what's there, even if something's ready to do. So that's the first part of the report. The second part of the report is one of those areas that's been identified during my time. We have a bit of fault function, meaning that it sort of gets done through a means, but without someone who actually drives it. And often that gets a result, but maybe doesn't get to the result as you want. Very, very important function, the last part of it, which is development of our community strategic plans. They're going to be around for the next 4 years. It's very important. They want to do a good job of those. We want to do a good job of those over the next 9 months. The community engagement programs that run on top of those, obviously, and the strategies that are in place for resourcing and build. And there's some other areas there around some of our governance and health management and other issues that need to be. In short, I expect that to be something that gets raised during the year. However, in the interim, we've got a very important time to get moving, like in our months. So, recommending that we put in a temporary term position. As I mentioned in the report, that's something that's in the guys of the general manager. However, what I'm thinking is make sure that such a person would be such a visible person in the community that then the council don't come back and say, this is the person where they come from, even though they can do that. So I guess it's a respect thing more than anything else, just to hear about what we're trying to get done. It also is obviously a slight risk, looking at taking this positively, that getting a person with this skill set on a term employment is generally not an easy to do. However, in the current environment, there are a lot of very good people who have either been displaced through mergers or who are not particularly happy with their new merged entity, who are looking to do something different, potentially maybe showing that they're wares at the same time. There's also some people around who are doing this consulting who may, however, with the security of part of those hours being fixed to that council. If that isn't the case, then we'll have to look at addressing this through consultants and the like. However, as a first option, I think this is not a bad one to try and obviously cost efficiency out of it. Also to have the person in an organisation to try and disseminate some of their skills across our people who are there. So we get a building of our staff in the organisation. But if we aren't like fortunate enough to get somebody else to do that. Very important time for us over the next 60 months. There's been a resetting of where we're going to resourcing. Commend the report.
Questions to the GM to deal with this report? Councillor Ship.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you, Mr. Chair. I'm very much aware of some comments by some members and by going around our road place and restaurants, we can find this everywhere. But how long do you envisage this person being employed by the council? And I know you do state the financial exact cost associated. you don't know this time. Can you give us a ballpark figure and approximately how long you anticipate this person being?
Sure, Mr. Chair. I'll answer the last one first.
Okay.
So it's like a ballpark, I'll give you a ballpark, and why it's so this person, the right person may say, well, you know what, I can go through this in 2 days of work, I can be here and do it. Someone else might say, look, I think it takes 3 or I need to be on 5. So being a little bit flexible with that person. At a ballpark, I'd say probably 40,000 in total costs period, and I expect 6 months because basically we start to hit now as far as all our project plans starting to first presentation in the coming months. It doesn't really terminate probably getting into early sort of March, April, but final drafts vision. There's a side issue to that too. But when we do a review of the organisation, we identify that we can actually press permanent basis. And so that might be far earlier in my own. And that is far less on part of that, depending on what you do. Sorry, so yes, so somewhere between 2 and 6 months per person. I envisage it to be part-time. I couldn't see it as someone 5 days a week whilst we've got the basic fine down strategy, strategic presentation, without some performance issue. Part-time operation, sharing that again, on the flexibility. As far as allocations, current budget, staffing allocations, other than what we will have is money allocated to actually build CSPs, which is often, as contractors themselves, outstanding one, saving on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Next, Mr. Dan. Well, questions to do with the report to the general manager and councillors? No?
Mr. Chair, thank you for your indulgence. Just one last point I did. Sorry, with regard to your first part of the question, Councillor Shipman, commenting in public, being top heavy in line. I've never worked at a council where people said the council wasn't top heavy. Unfortunately, people generally did get council training staff, and my experience, with the exception of one, which was post-merger councils, had people their staff, it's generally the opposite. However, one of the advantages of doing an independent or external review of the structure every 4 years is you can say, well, nobody's got interest here. Like what we do before, we've had someone look at it, they've given us recommendations, whatever they are. They may come back and say that, they may come back and say the opposite. But ultimately, you council moving forward have a position to answer those questions. Go, well, we've had a review, and what's the appropriate
Thank you. Councillors, all happy to endorse. We're going to offer some recommendations there. There's 2 to endorse this. All in favour? Against? Carried. Council, we'll move on to page 44. Hard copy. Item GM 046/16. Operational plan 2015-16. Quarterly review of activities. April to June 2016. I'll move in a second to deal with the sign, please. Councillor Ray, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Shipman. Thank you. Once again, I'll hand over to our General Manager, Mr. G.
Mr. Chair, thank you. In short, I recommend the interview report progress on operational plan. Myself or any of the relevant persons or any questions. I just overarched by saying that there's been tremendous done here in the last 12 months, the vast majority of my existence. So I'd just like to commend the team that started the work and their staff alone. Operation plan. It's very important for a group of councillors that it's easy to strike plans, something different to them. Lots of places talk a lot, but I think the success rate of the delivery of the operational plan and the vast majority has proposed indication of the effectiveness of both the planning and the operational.
Before I go to ask questions, I fully support the General Manager's comments there, and also thank the work that's gone into this and the ability of our senior staff. Councillors, are there any questions for the General Manager to do with this? Councillor Ray, yes?
Thank you. Through you to the General Manager, Mr. Mayor. It's in relation to strategy 6.6A, which comes on page 63 of the attachments. It says that the high level, it's implementation of information technology systems and procedures. And it says that the high level of system availability does not continue to be maintained. I'm sorry, I'm just waiting for that.
Councillor, while that gentleman is responding, that's good, because on the hard copy, where is it again? I'm sorry.
Oh, I've got it in
You said
page 63 of the attachment, right? And it's strategy 6.6A.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So councillor, now that we're all on the page, can you repeat please?
Yes. On this page 63, strategy 6.6A,
Yes.
high level of system availability does not continue to be maintained. Originally it was, now it says it does not continue, and I'm wondering if this is, it's not Synergy Soft, it's the other company.
Good evening, me.
Of course.
Good to up councillor Lake. That's the fibre.
Oh!
Thank you,
It does
Mr. Redmond.
continue to be maintained.
Thank you, I am so relieved. I thought we had a problem with our IT system.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Thank you for the question, councillor. Councillors, any more questions to do with this report? Gentlemen, Councillor Berry, yes?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Director of Engineering. I just can't find where it is in here. I didn't mark it properly. Don't know where to flag it actually.
Give me a shot, councillor.
With the replacing the Tabernet Bridge, is that going to impact on what materials left over? Do we get the materials, or hasn't that been decided yet?
Mr. Engineer?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there has been discussion with RMS regarding the listing of that bridge on Cherry Register, that do listing of it. As part of those discussions, I had briefed on behalf of council's tax on materials. The material is actually very good condition. It can be used on all of our other timber. Provided there was no transfer of heritage conditions on those members to existing bridges, which there's not. Basically, as of when that transpires, I can't say yet, because obviously predicated on when RMS engage a contract to do those works, but yes, there have been discussions.
Thank you, Mr. Engineer. Obviously, everybody's aware we are talking about the Tabernet Bridge of Craig River. They're all on the same page. Councillors, any more questions to do with this report? To our Junior Water Directors? No? So, councillors, all happy to receive a note in favour? Yes? Carried. Councillors, it's 20 past. Do you want to do this one then break the smoke? Oh, yeah, we go. Membership? No, we're good. Or smoke out now? What do you want to do? John? You're on coffee now? Okay, we'll adjourn. We'll adjourn. Well, we've got a team's going to leave. No, I'll go with you, Councillor Paul. We'll break the morning tea. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Thank you. Board, thank you as always for sharing good morning to you. The engagement that brings us obviously always good. Move on, council, getting back to a meeting to do page 46 in the hard copy. PM 048/16 to do with community contributions, donations. Sorry. That one, I apologise for Mr. Bakes. Start again, it's on page 45 on that. Item GM 047/16, council resolution section. Try to move in a second, please. Bill, this councillor Berry, thank you. Second by councillor Larkin, thank you. And once again, I'll hand over to our general manager.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just put the board as is, got any questions there, let's go for the same stuff.
Councillor, questions to the general manager, still this item? Councillor Berry?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, the General Manager, there's a few items that weren't acted on by the previous GM going back a while. How far do we go back with it? Or going to go back? We just start from scratch now.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe it starts in February, so 4 months, 3 or 4 months before my time. And when we created the first resolution register, we put in everything that was still outstanding. So I'm unaware of any that's outstanding that's not in the register, but if there was something there, I'd be happy to help.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for the question, councillor. Councillor Lake?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the General Manager, I don't know whether you can answer this question, but on page 11 of the attachment, and it stops turning round, the Fit for the Future program on page 11, further information provided to the Office of Local Government. I don't know whether you're free or not to give us any information as to what they were interested in or required further information on.
Thank you, Councillor. Through you, Mr. Chair, I might try to talk in a second just to think of the details, but in short, it's just an area process where they're just looking for further supporting documentation behind the key assumptions that are in there. So they wanted some details about cost containment strategies that have been run here over the last 4 years. They wanted a few more details with regard to how we managed to improve our position over the last 3 or 4 years. It's largely contained within the submission, but often they like to add files. So there's a number of questions along those lines. We haven't received any further requests since they were provided, but we may well do that approach. So I just asked the director for that into that.
You want to comment? Yeah, it's really interesting. What the General Manager said was correct, just supporting documentation website. But also, one thing they were looking at, because one of the reasons they knocked us back was because we had a special rate variation in there for 7 years at 3%. Once this current special rate variation ends, so they asked us a bit of information about, because what we did was remove that upcoming special rate variation. So what they did was ask us how we were going to support, prove how we were going to survive without a special rate variation. So we did that. We also put some information in there which showed that after 10 years, in other words, our 10-year long-term financial plan, after 10 years, where would we sit? Where would our rating base sit compared to all those other councils? We did that and showed them still right down to the bottom. And yet we can still meet all the criteria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Thanks for your comments, Mr. Director and the General Manager. Councillors, any more questions to the GM or Director to build this report? All happy to receive a note? Yeah, Councillor, you won't ask a question, Councillor Hall. Okay. All happy to receive a note. All in favour? Yes, carried. Councillor, there we move on to page 46. It's item GM 048/16, community contributions, donations, 21617. I'll move the second and do the slide, please. Councillor Shipp, thank you. Second by Councillor Peters. I'll hand over to our General Manager to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. In short, councils have in front of us the recommendations made by the committee consisting of Councillor Vickery, Councillor Shipp, Petty recently. I managed to report very poor secretariat skills to the committee. However, you have the recommendations in front of you. Welcome any questions.
Questions to the GM to do with the community grants and donations? It is an important thing that council does, and it is the only time that community groups can advise funding to the council. And as I always say, with the number of applications we get, which is fantastic, it's like Jesus with the fishes and loaves, we try and share it as far as we can. So it's not an easy task. I think our gentleman did for his helpful with as we went through that process. Councillors, if there's no questions, all happy to adopt. Against? Carry. Thank you. Councillors, we move on to page 52. Okay, I apologise. Again. Now we'll move on to the amendment item. Councillors, we've all got the amendment item in front of you. It is item GM049/16. It's from 212 to 216, and we're going to report. Councillors, can I have a move and a second, please, to deal with this item? Councillor Shipman, thank you, and seconded by Councillor Murray. And once again, I'll hand over to our General Manager, Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To review, in short, this report forms the end-of-term report as per council. There's a requirement that we report to council at the last meeting of the outgoing council on the delivery of the community strategic plan over the last 4-year period and the success of the strategy in delivering on the community's desires. I will note that the report was tabled, required to be tabled, as we spoke about before with electionary issues. We saw some clarification on that, where we're told the report doesn't refer to August, however, it should be tabled and not form part of the main paper. So that's why it's to you now. I won't labour the details too much. I think that the Mayor in his mayoral minute covered off a lot of the different items. What you will see reflected in the report is we link those back to the quadruple bottom line. So economy, environment, society, governance and leadership, which is a requirement in the legislation for community strategic plans to reflect those in that underlying manner. I'd only go on to state that there's obviously been a tremendous amount of work done here over the last 4 years in delivering on the community's wishes. I commend the council here for their functionality and making it happen, but also and senior staff, looking from afar from someone who's been like going for quite a while. The 4-year program has been delivered here at this council. Everyone's to be commended on their work they've done individually. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I go to the councillors for questions and comments, fully support your comments, and it just backs up the mayoral minute I presented was about me, about this council. As a group, we all need to stand up and be very proud of what we achieved this council has done. I sincerely mean. One thing I do want to note is on page 4 of the amendment of activity, actively participate in the regional bodies, and the ones that are mentioned, they're so important, and it backs up where this council sits, especially against the Queensland border. Yes, we've still got plenty of involvement to the south, to the west, to everywhere. And North Coast, when we make the effort to attend those regional meetings, and actually, councillors, any questions for the general manager to do with this? Councillor Berry?
Actually, it's a question to you, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Construction of New Edinburgh Medical Centre, I thought that was done last.
Yeah, because we've fair comment. I didn't know that. Wonderful to see. Councillors, any more questions? No? Okay. All happy to endorse the end of term report? Councillors, on favour? Against? Okay. Thank you. Councillors, now we move on to field reports from officers. Item COR 23/16, finance and accounts. I can't move for a second to deal with this. Councillor Hull, thank you. Second by Councillor Murray. And I'll hand over to our Director of Corporate Services, Darren Pure.
Mr. Mayor, The finance accounts report for the end of July, a monthly report. Just a couple of things to mention. Our term deposits, we've got about $10.2 million on term deposit. Term deposit at call at the moment. Interesting to see the interest rates continue to go down. We're picking up 60 90-day investments at the moment for between 2.7% and 8%, which is obviously hasn't, if it keeps going lower, it has an impact on our budget. But one thing I would like to mention, this is the last meeting of council, is all throughout the last 4 years. If you went back through the business budget, you know that we've always had quite a bit of money in investments, around probably $9 to $12 million each month through a quarter. And first of all, I don't know if anybody ever wonders what that money's for. That's money set aside in reserves, mate, mostly for things that we have aimed to fund. And it also shows the level of grant funding too, because once we receive grants, we put in there, invested, money back until we spend. So that's a one to mention. The Lehman Brothers matters, which started about 2007, 2008, global financial crisis, are all now put to bed. So that's a one to mention. That's probably all I need.
Councillor, questions to our director to do this report, Councillor Peters.
I'm just wondering about the energy rates, with $10 million washing around. How come we don't get a better interest rate? So, I think it's screwing the banks a bit more, but that's all right.
Around talking about that because we source the investment that we were able to do under the rules that we were placed able to invest. So you're getting better rates than that than what we're getting.
Just through the back. It's one of the 4 backs.
Yep. Is that 60 or 90 days?
No. Term deposit.
I just want to have a chat with you.
6 months, sorry.
Just on thank you, Chair, through you. So that end now is obviously just so people understand the process. Our guys when they either review or put out investments, we call for rates from all the major banks as well as some of the other major institutions outside of those big 4. So yeah, obviously we know that we can press a little bit harder, but generally we get reasonable rates for the size of the trenches there. But yeah, we'll be interested more pressure on it. If they're offering rates better than what we've been able to get. The other thing to be mindful of, which is the opposite, because at the moment rates are falling, but often you can be locked in long term, so we've got 12-month money and the rates rising. So thanks, Chair.
Any more questions to the director to do the report, councillors? All happy to receive a note? One note? Yes, carried. Thank you. Councillors, we move on to page 54 in the hard copy. It's item COR 24/16, proposed expenditure report. Can I move a second to deal with this item, please? Councillor Hull, I thank you. Second, please. Councillor Shipman, I thank you. And once again, I hand over to the Director of Corporate Services, Mr. Alan Short.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And through you, this is our expenditure report, capital expenditure report. Only 1 month gone in the new year, so there are no overall expenditures.
Question to the Director to do the report. All happy to receive a note, councillors? On favour? Against? Okay, thank you. Councillors, page 56, copy. Item ENG 28/16, strategic business plan for the water supply services, adoption report after community consultation. Can I have a move and second to deal with this item? Councillor Hull again, I thank you. And second by Councillor Murray. And I'll hand over to you, Mr. Engineer, to do this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As council will be aware, the strategic business plan is prepared by items for consulting. The consultant provided a presentation of the plan to council at its meeting. The plan was exhibited for a period of greater than 28 days, and no comments were received. The plan is now presented to Council for adoption. What I will just briefly point out though is that the plan addresses the strategic and operational requirements of the Council, particularly as it pertains to it's industry best practice to actually have business plans in place for these sorts of activities. And the services that are covered by the plan include provision of water and sewer, particularly in the urban areas. We don't provide water and sewer in rural areas, so Canterville, Urbanville, and Cannington. The consultant has undertaken detailed modelling to establish the fees, charging, and pricing strategy for the water and sewer. And for Council's advice, that charging, that pricing structure has been incorporated into fees and charges for 2017 Council's adopted. Some of the things that are in the plan include the provision of water treatment plants, provision of sewer activities, for example, and long-held desire of councils to do, and other things that we provide. That's what is factored in the plan and also pricing. I commend the plan to Council now for adoption.
Questions or usability report? Councillor Ray, yes.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Director. I note, this will be a simple sort of question. These are both business entities, and as such, I'm correct that they should be making a profit so that we can put aside money for future developments.
Pretty interesting. Each of these entities have their platform really. They are, in essence, designed to recapture the costs of providing those services throughout the year. And also making sure that we have the money available to actually provide the services that our community needs.
Thank you. That was sort of part of my question. So the future needs, yes, and some of those, of course, will be capital, which may have to be matched. But just looking at price paths, which go forward to 2020, and I understand the community members who are alarmed when they see the implications of that. But over the long term, we do have to make sure that these two business entities pay their way and we make provision for the future, for instance, for our water treatment plant. I am correct in that, am I?
Yeah, that is correct. One example that provides the water treatment plant. They don't come cheap. They are, you're talking about $50 to provide a new treatment plant or supply the water supply in Canterville. Clearly, council needs to provide the funding to enable that. Certainly, there was grant funding that we can apply for when that comes available, but certainly they have money easy enough.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Perry.
Question to you, Mr. Mayor, the Director. With the costing of these plants we're talking about just a second ago, the cost of the plant we've got now, how many people would that service and how many, you know, if you had I think about 3,900 or something population in Canterville, would that same plant cover, say, a population of 10,000? Therefore, the water rates would be cheaper if that was the case.
Through you, the business case has been done for the plant here at Canterville. The report actually indicates a 0.9% growth rate. It's probably higher than what it is, but that has been factored into the growth rate and in terms of what we need to provide for servicing of our future. So, and the pricing structure reflects the cost of doing that service.
Thank you, Councillor. There's been questions. Any more questions here on the report? Council, all happy to adopt the report? Yes. Okay, thank you. Council, if you move on to page 58, item ENB 46/16 planning development update. I will move to second here, please. Councillor Lane, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Chipman. Introduce our Director of Strategic Planning Environmental Services in his blue suit, Mr. Gary White.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Council. This was a pleasure working over the past The report before you is a simple information report based on the information council provides statistics on development with the Shire. A few points of interest: a significant increase around 44% in total dollar value development for the month of previous year, all development being to buildings and ancillary development to that really sums it up. So I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Any questions to the director to do with more councillors? Councillor Berry.
Just a comment, I couldn't resist it, Mr. Mayor. I noticed that half the applications lodged in 2016, July 2016 are listed.
Oh. Treating listed, councillor. Thank you. Any more questions, councillors? Not? Well, all happy to receive a note and report. As always, councillors, in your hard copy goes from page 58 to page 62. So you'll hear that. All in favour to receive a note? Yes, carried. Thank you. Councillors, we move to page 63. Item ENC 47/16 local heritage places applications. I'll move the second to deal with this, please. Councillor Howard, thank you. Second by Councillor Berry, thank you. And once again, I'll hand over to our Director of Strategic Planning and Environmental Services, Mr. James Rapine. Mr. Director.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Council, this is a report requiring decision for the dissemination of grant funding to the community for heritage-related projects. To give background on the program, as standard, this has in the past been taken through the committee after not receiving quorum multiple times at the discussion. To make sure that one, the funds are being distributed in a timely manner, and two, that the projects are able to be undertaken in a time frame to satisfy the provisions of the grant funding program. The grant is a 2-to-1 opportunity, which is funded in 2/3 by council, 1/3 by the Office of Heritage Branch. This is one council's heritage strategy, aims to encourage the propagation of local heritage conservation projects within heritage open source area. Total grants pool available for this year is $25,500. Can be distributed as a maximum of 1 to 1 for any particular heritage projects, private heritage projects. We had a total of 12 applications received this financial year, and the recommendations as the Heritage Advisor is that all projects are funded equally, or for the maximum 1-to-1 base of the dollar development, and that is lower than you'll see that in the attachment, which is attachment 8.2, basically an spread of funding across the whole application.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Questions to the Director to do the report? No? Council, all happy to endorse? All in favour? Yes, carried. Thank you. Council, we move on to page 66 in the hard copy. Item ENV 48/16. Tourism Marketing Business Information Centre. Councillor Scott, move and second to deal with this report. Councillor Murray, I thank you. Seconded by Councillor Shipman. Once again, I hand over to our Director of Strategic Planning, Environmental Services, Mr. James Rapine. Mr. Director.
Thank you, previous Mayor. Councillors, before you is an update report for the Strategic Tourism and Business Information Centre. Just a few points of interest. BRC visitation slightly up in the month of July compared to the previous year. 38% of visitors visited directly to Queensland. A total of 46% can be attributed to our target markets of South East Queensland and North East New South Wales, showing that the strategic portion of our tourism marketing is having a significant effect. Increase in website visitors, including new visitors for the month of July, with 8% in total being dedicated to the Brisbane market, and an increase in social media for Tuesday, Instagram. From the strategic marketing side of things, a few very interesting points. The adventure touring campaign run with Bauer Media kicked off, and you may have noticed the link to the video in the last fortnightly update which came out, which does do a good job of showcasing a portion of the particular campaign. The Brisbane News campaign also continued, which is a council-supported there is evidence being shown by the businesses that that particular campaign has increased calls and invitation to their businesses from the Brisbane area. BRC also continues to have volunteer filters to our staff with the Shire House Club. That's it in a nutshell. So I was not having any questions.
Question to the Responsibility Report. Just to support the Brisbane News campaign, absolutely fantastic. See a huge increase in the railways. It's fantastic. Well, we're proud of that. Especially tonight. Councillors, we're all happy to receive the note of the report. All in favour? Yes, carried. Thank you. Councillors, that's the end of our reports from officers. Then we do move on to a notice of motion. It's item NM 11/16, it's upgrading council meeting webcast. Councillor Lay, bring the move and the notice of motion. You want me to move that? Thank you, Councillor Lay. Quite a second of there, please. Councillor Berry, thank you. Councillor Lay, once again, bring the move. Would you like to speak to the motion, please?
First, I'll turn on
Yes.
my application. I think it's fairly simple. The feedback from our constituents and ratepayers, while I think it's a great idea, they're having difficulty and frustration with the visual, but particularly the auditory aspects. And I think from us who've been online, we certainly agree with that. I mean, you may have trouble with my voice because it's not very loud, but even the mayor can't be heard clearly. No, and you've got great projection of your voice and volume. So it seems a shame that we're doing this, and we did it to improve, to enhance our community's involvement through better access, and particularly we wanted to be transparent and accountable. And that's what we are being. But unfortunately, the recording is not living up to our hopes and our plans. Now, all I'm asking for is that a report be brought to council at its next ordinary council meeting, and with various options and obviously costings. If you go online, you will see other councils live webcasting of their meetings, and it's very easy, very clear to hear the debate, to know who is speaking. And if you can't hear clearly, I've had a few emails and phone calls where people have misheard and misinformation is going around, and that's never very helpful. And I won't say particularly at this moment in time, but that is true. So I'm just asking for council to endorse a report to come back to the new council when I won't be here next time, and see whether we could improve without last costs the quality of our live webcasting. And that's for the council as well as for our ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillor Berry, being the second, would you like to speak to the motion, please?
Yeah, I'd just like to endorse everything Councillor Lay said. I've had people complain to me that they just cannot understand anything said at the meeting. They've got to listen very carefully, and especially take notes and repeat the thing. So, if it's going to be that bad, we may not have it, but I think it's great thing to have the community study, and it highlights what council's all about.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, is there any speakers against this motion? Councillor Murray, you speak. Councillor Murray, are you speaking?
No, I'm not speaking.
Yeah.
Just
Okay, I'll accept that.
to you, Mr. Mayor. I want to know, is the numbers registered that come in? Is the numbers listed that comes in looking and listening in? Are those numbers recorded?
Just take a comment.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to confirm all of them.
Yeah.
Would they be available to us?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I think you should have a report to council. Your council obviously look options, also addressing others and issues like line speed, fueling.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the question, councillor. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the comment. Any more questions, councillors? There's no speakers against the notice of motion. Councillor, Slade, did you want some closing comments? Okay. So notice of motion is there in front of us, councillors. Still upgrading council meeting webcast, information's there. All in favour? Against? Carried. Councillors. Councillors. There's, what's he doing? Okay. Okay. So we've done the notice of motion. There's no words of business without notice, councillors. There's nothing, no confidential matters for consideration. Closed item. Have you been through that all? Am I correct in saying you needed to table that? There was the council.
The attention chair of the meeting, so that assessment is made on
I'm sorry, Councillor Berry, because obviously that's to do with the microphone. Okay, thank you. So there's nothing confidential, councillors, and no questions for the next meeting, which I'll leave that one alone. Councillors, that is the end of our meeting, and I return to the council. We should all welcome the councillors who are standing in the election. We are a lucky country. On 10th of September, that we will have a local government election. But if they go to pencil, go to mark a name box, it should be respected and remind ourselves about every day that whether it be local government, state or federal, that we can have such an election. So I wish you all well once again. I thank everybody for the last 4 years. We've had a great honour to serve as mayor. And to the two school leaders, thank you very much for your attendance. And I wish you well in the future. And I hope that you, with your council at school, that you make very good decisions for the future of our high school. We have a wonderful high school, and I'm always impressed by the school captains for their attend things and how well they speak. We have been so lucky over the last few years to have outstanding leaders, and I wish you all well. So thank you, councillors, and we end this council, and the meeting is ended in peace and harmony. Thank you.
One of those being, we have a current policy which says that
we've got some time.
Lunch.
We're closed the meeting now, we're not in the
So, 12, how do you think that we discussed it there? Yeah,
Because then we.
yeah, yeah. I'll never be having to short you.
Well, I've got to get down.
Yeah, good, good.
Recording, aren't we, mate? Yeah, well, that's right. You see, I'm gonna make that right.
I know you stayed very hard, especially with the wine. Oh. Good.
Oh, God.